So if we could start by turning our gaze inwardly or closing our eyes and welcoming ourself, welcoming our experience, welcoming the universe. Whichever way it's appearing to us. We are an integral part of the whole. Like every drop of water is an integral part of the ocean. Every breath you take is a cosmic breath. It is the entire universe breathing through you. There is nothing which you experience which is not a cosmic expression. Thoughts that appear to you, the images that appear to you, the sensations that appear to you, the events that appear to you are expressions of the universe, of the cosmos, universal expressions. Moment by moment, the universe expresses itself as this experience, this perception, this sensation. Without any mistake. There are no errors, nothing out of place. You recognize yourself as an integral part of this totality, a seamless member of this totality. And in this recognition, you recognize yourself as a wave that's made out of the ocean. That in fact there is no duality between the wave and the ocean. There is no duality between a wave and another wave. Whichever form water takes, whether it takes on the form of a wave or a bubble or a current, it's never apart, never separate. It's always intimately interconnected. This is God's design. This is the cosmic realm. When you recognize this flow, you live in harmony with nature and harmony with each other, in harmony with the world. You recognize God's imprint in every aspect of your experience. There is a current of peace, undisturbable, which is the core of your being. Your true self, the only self there is. Which is the self that we all know as myself. And that very self is not apart from the world. All realms, physical realms and mental realms, psychic realms, belong to this eternal and undisturbable Brahman reality. So you recognize yourself as this reality and the intimacy of this reality with the world, the body, and the mind. Like every drop of water within the stream is intimately the stream and is not apart from any other drop of water. They share the same reality. It's a sharing of complete love and complete intimacy. It is not a sharing of two coming together. It's a sharing that is beyond any duality. Like the inhalation and the exhalation are one as breath. But whenever you identify yourself with body, with money, with personal power, with pleasures, with sensations, whenever you identify yourself in whichever way, you break the cycle, you interrupt the flow, you break the chain. And all around you and within you will experience devastation, loneliness, despair, a sense of lack, confusion at the mind level, constriction and restriction within the body. The earth becomes a commodity. Your fellow humans become subjects that you can exploit. Your body and your mind become full of pride. You become prey to emotions. Simply by choosing to identify yourself as somebody American, Chinese, British, man, woman, rich, poor. Any identification separates you from your interconnectivity, from your intimacy with the totality, with the wholeness. Although, in fact, this identification and the sense of separation do not, in fact, represent any real separation within the reality of consciousness. Although the sense of separation and unhappiness is a dream aspect of your experience, you do not recognize it as such, and you project onto the world and onto others your inner guilt and your inner sense of alienation. You find fault out there, which is just a projection of your own sense of separation. It is a mental realm that has nothing to do with the cosmic order. It simply has to do with the unhappy aspect of your mind, what we refer to as personal suffering. While the wide open sky is undisturbed by the clouds, irrespective of what shape they appear. Within the clouds, there is turmoil. Within your mind and your body, there is turmoil. When you identify yourself as a cloud, as a particular body-mind form, which is not that which is. That which is does not change across time and space. Your thoughts, they change from minute to minute. The images, the bodily sensations, the storyline changes day by day. That which is changeless. The reality of that which is changing cannot be a changing reality. Therefore, you cannot find reality within the changing form. You cannot find peace and happiness within thought, which is constantly changing, or within the world, which is constantly changing, or within the body, which is constantly changing. You have to go to the core. You have to go to the heart of being, which is the totality, the wholeness, that which is absolute, which you know in your direct experience as God's light shining through you, the reality of awareness, its eternity and infinity. Awareness, consciousness is benevolent, loving, peaceful. Okay, so um, if you have any questions or anything you would like to explore, please make sure to unmute your mic, and you're welcome to turn on your video if you like. So any questions?
Yes. Hello, Magdi.
Hello, George.
Thank you for this great meditation. In the course of this, I think I heard you say that we were a part of this reality of the cosmic realm. And I guess my question is, to what extent am I a part of this reality as opposed to being all of this reality?
Well, one could say that a symphony is made out of many different notes, but in fact it's one symphony. Every note is part of the symphony, but you cannot distinguish the notes from the symphony, or you cannot distinguish the symphony from its notes, the totality of its notes, the volume. Okay. So in our body, there are different organs, different nerve endings and flesh and bones and so on that compose the body. Every part of the body is the body is the totality of it. So in your question that I am part of the whole is a way of pointing to the non-separate aspect of our experience, like a thought that we have is a thought that we perceive is very particular to this body-mind and is not particular to another body-mind. So at some level, one could say that this thought right here is relevant and significant to this local aspect of experience. And yet, on the other hand, this particular thought is a cosmic thought, is a thought that the universe is having as part of its expression. So there is an aspect to our experience which is personal, which is private, which is not shared in the same way that we all share the same awareness. In fact, in reality, there are no parts. So, not to take literally that reality is a puzzle and it's made out of 100 pieces or 1,000 pieces, and that each one of us is a piece of the puzzle. It's sort of a metaphoric way of speaking that basically is referring to the interconnectivity of the whole, that the whole is like a wave. You could say that the wave has its crescent and has the part of it that rises and the part of it that is, I don't know the English word, déferlant, that is, falling over. But in fact, that's a way of speaking. It is not to understand that the wave is made out of two parts, the part that's rising, the part that's descending. It's one wave. Similarly, we talk about the breath. We say, okay, inhalation and exhalation. But the inhalation and exhalation are a conceptual way of speaking about breath, which is not made out of any parts. So if you are comprehending and sensing into your wholeness, meaning the wholeness of reality, the wholeness of the universe, the wholeness of the totality of the cosmic order, then the purpose of speaking about we are part of the whole, intimate part of the whole, is not relevant to you. If you consider yourself to be a separate part, then the conversation about you being part of the whole and not a separate part is relevant to you.
It almost seems that both statements are true. That is, I am a part of reality and I am all of reality. And if I look into my direct experience, there's nothing but my direct experience. That is, in that sense, it looks like I'm all of reality. And I certainly get what you say about the body mind. It's just, it's a part of reality the way the oak tree is. Anyhow, do I have it right? Or am I missing something, or is this?
Yeah, well, there is something you said that sort of I need to comment about.
Yes, please do.
You say when you look at, you said, if I heard you correctly, that as I look at my experience, all there is my experience. And so there is one reality, that is something to that effect. Yes, is that?
Yes.
Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, you heard me correctly. Yes.
Well, I need to make a comment about that.
Yes, please do.
So when I look at my experience, there is just this mind. There is my perception, which is not
okay. I get it now. Yes.
There is my mind, which is, of course, changes from moment to moment, but all there is my experience is my mind. But also, also there is the reality of my mind. There is my mind, which is that which I perceive. I'm not aware of your thoughts, but I'm aware of my thoughts, my sensations, my perceptions. So there is my mind, but there is also the reality of my mind. The reality of my mind is the awareness, because my mind without awareness would be, I don't know what we would be talking about. So obviously, yes, there is my mind. But the key thing about my particular mind is its reality. Because with the mind without its reality, I would be talking about the color of my dress without the dress, or how well my car drives without my car, or without the driver. I mean, you follow?
Yes, so I get it.
In what you said, you overlooked the key thing, which is that there is my mind, but there is, in my experience, the reality of awareness. And that which distinguishes, where you find distinctions, is between minds. For example, your thoughts and my thoughts at in this moment. This is where you will find distinction. Like when you look at the ocean, you will find distinction between different waves. When you look at the sky, you will find distinctions between different clouds. But where you will not find distinctions is in awareness. So the I am part of the whole is basically speaking to my mind, which is a part. It's a part because it's different from your mind. My thoughts are different from your thoughts. So when we speak of I am part of the whole, is my mind belongs to the whole, or its reality is awareness.
Yes.
So my awareness is my reality, which is the reality of awareness. That is the cosmic non-dual realm. And there is also the mind realm, which is different from across minds, but as this one reality, it's not apart. So my mind and your mind are connected. They're connected via awareness. Like two waves a mile apart are connected via their reality, via the fact that they are water, they are the ocean. So every aspect of our experience, every thought, go ahead, George, if you need to.
No, it's okay. My wife has something to say to me. It can wait.
Okay.
Please go on.
So every aspect of our experience, every thought, every perception, every sensation is a cosmic event. It is, every wave is an ocean event. Every wave is the ocean waving. Similarly, every thought that we have is consciousness thinking, let's say, right? Or every sensation we have is awareness, consciousness, the non-dual reality, dancing the dance of sensation. So in that way, all the parts are no real parts, but all events are referred to the one reality. They are cosmic events. It's very important to understand that a thought does not arise out of the brain. There is a resonance or a correlation between the vibrations of the brain that reverberate at the physical level, the brain level, the cosmic event, which we refer to as a thought, or a perception, also a perception. At the brain level, there is a resonance, an echo or an imprint, let's say, or a reverberation of the cosmic event, which we refer to as a perception or a sensation.
Yes, thank you. I see my error in that there may be more than one error. But in the sense when I was talking about my experience, I'm referring to arisings in awareness. And the arisings in awareness are just aspects of, and they're not the awareness. Somehow that the awareness that I am is, I want to say, behind experience or above experience, or I can't even think of the right word.
The reality of all experiences.
Right. Okay.
Every experience, which no denying of it, it's like hearing these words, has a reality. It refers to a reality. If it is its own reality, then it wouldn't be changing. So therefore, you cannot find within the sound its reality. You find the reality of the sound in that which doesn't change. Within every sound, you will find awareness. Irrespective of the note, of how the note is dancing, you will find that which does not dance. In every wave, you will find that which is not a wave, H2O, as a metaphor. So in your experience, when you look at your experience, which is the dance of Shiva, which is the dance of consciousness, and it reverberates within the brain and within the body and within the world. Its reality is that which you experience. You experience the reality of the thought and not just that particular sound. Or you could say that that particular note co-arises with the awareness, which is there. So the note, in a way, it arises, but awareness is there. And the next note, and then the next note, whichever form the note takes, it's co-arising with awareness. That which doesn't arise, that which is stable or across the board in your experience, is awareness. And awareness doesn't get augmented or diminished by whatever thoughts, perceptions, or sensation arises. It is not diminished, it's not burned by a fire or drowned by the ocean. And it is the reality of awareness, meaning my reality. Why do I say my reality? Because beyond any doubt, I know I am. I am. I am doesn't refer to I am somebody or I'm born or I exist. It refers to the presence of reality, meaning that there is something rather than nothing. Whatever that something is, we refer to it as I. We refer to it as I. I am, and I'm aware. Why do we refer to it as I am and I'm aware? Because there is a certainty about I am and I am aware. And that certainty cannot be shaken by any thought, because the thought that arises that says, no, you are not, is in fact perceived by I. The absolute certainty of awareness, presence awareness, beingness awareness, means there is no possibility, and you have to check it out for yourself, no possibility for any experiment that we would conduct to shake it.
Yes. Thank you very much, Maggie. Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions?
Hey, Maggie, it's Frank.
Hello, Frank.
Hi. I was gonna have, I have a critical voice that always says to me, "Oh, you're asking too many questions. You just asked one yesterday." And so I just wanted to give you a background of where this body-mind's coming from.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, but I do have a question about doership. And so this body-mind takes a lot of things personally, and is easily not as easily offended as he used to be, but he still gets offended by somebody saying the quote unquote wrong thing or whatever, or treating him in a certain way. But really, when I think of it, there's really no separate person. There's no person, right? And so who's really taking it personally? Who's getting offended? It seems like there's nobody there to take offense, but there's still that feeling of being offended.
Right.
Still that belief in being offended. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. let's say that you're dreaming that you are, a young man, a basketball player. You're a basketball player, and you're a good one, and you are challenged to play one-on-one against somebody who outplays you, and you consider yourself to be a very good player, and you cannot be beaten by somebody who's 6 inches shorter than you and seems to be younger than you, but yet they beat you. And you become upset and offended and hurt. Because you believe and you feel that you are a great basketball player, that this shouldn't be easily beat. And you have you are identified with this image, so you get hurt because you get beat. But in fact, you and all your skills as a basketball player, as well as that younger challenger, as well as the basketball court, all of that are the dreams of the dreamer. Now you ask, why am I feeling hurt? You're feeling hurt because you are identified as a great basketball player. You have an identity, but this identity belongs to whom? It doesn't belong to you, the basketball player, because in fact, you don't even exist. You are the dream character that is being dreamt by the dreamer, and your identity, your identification as a great basketball player is part of the creation of consciousness. Now, you ask, well, what is it that's getting hurt? Who is it that's getting hurt? The answer is nobody. Because that basketball player who is feeling hurt doesn't exist. And the dreamer who is dreaming all of that isn't getting hurt, it's dreaming. Similarly, when you get insulted in the waking dream and you feel hurt because you are offended, because you are identified with your body and with your image, or with some ideas you have about yourself. Because of this identification, you are feeling hurt. So you ask, who is it that's feeling hurt? When I look, I don't find anybody. You are right. Nobody's feeling hurt. There is nobody who is getting hurt or feeling hurt. This is why we say the illusion of unhappiness, the illusion of being hurt. But having said that, it's not sufficient. It's not enough for me to tell you, oh, well, it's an illusion, Frank. Because you need to come to an understanding that, in fact, that which you are, It's this reality that hears these words right now. The reality, that which hears these words right now, has no name. It's not a female or a male hearing. There is hearing, but there isn't somebody hearing. There isn't a character behind the scene who is doing the hearing, who's sort of has a great computer software, very, very fast computer software that allows the hearing. This is not how it works. So you need to come to clarity that I is this aware presence, this transparent, effortless, aware presence. That there is no separate aspect, no boundaries or limits to this awareness. It's not an awareness that belongs to the body, that belongs to the mind, that belongs to the brain, that belongs to, to any form. This awareness is there. It's effortless. It is what I is. I is this awareness, this effortless awareness. It's not made out. Awareness is not made out of molecules or atoms or vessels and nerve endings. No, awareness is not made out. It's non-phenomenal. But it is absolutely real. It's undeniable. What could deny awareness? Awareness is proves itself by itself, within itself. This is the thing that's important for you to comprehend, and not to keep referring to yourself as a dream character. I'm Frank, I'm a man, I'm this and that, and I deserve to be respected. I've earned my wings, I've proven. No. Of course, there is that aspect of your experience where there is Frank, there is Frank's friends and Frank's work and Frank's family, Frank's car, Frank's home, etc. But you, as awareness, you are not Frank. You experience Frank and you take care of what needs to be taken care of. If the car is low on fuel, you go fill it up. If the body is tired, you'd find a way, if possible, to give it some rest. If the neighbors need some help, and you find a way of helping them. If your family is calling you for some advice, you listen. And you try to provide advice from a loving, wise place that's not, identified with me. I know. No. So, although we do take care of the world, body, mind, it's important to recognize that which you are, the reality of your being, what is real is consciousness. And then you will be so astounded to find that somebody could insult you in an awful way and you would not feel insulted. You may react. You may say, okay, hey, what's going on? I don't get it. What's bothering you? What's up? Did I do something to offend you? Let me see. Maybe I overlooked something. But you will not feel hurt or offended or why are you doing this to me or anything like that. And you will not experience unhappiness in your life, a sense of lack or desire or fear or worry. These things, they don't apply to consciousness, to awareness, which is your reality. And in fact, the reality of everything. There is nothing that is possible. No thought, no perception is possible without awareness, without consciousness. Not possible. What would be a thought or a perception or a feeling of hunger, for example, without awareness? It will mean nothing, you see. So this is why we say, turn your attention towards the source. The source is not like some abstract concept, No, the source is the reality of your experience. What am I? What is my experience? I cannot deny I am, I is. whatever it is, and I cannot deny awareness. There is something that perceives. That which perceives is awareness. And it's always there. Whether there is a perception A, B, C, or D, it's there. Even between perceptions, it's there. I don't cease to exist. I don't mean the body. Awareness, does not cease because the world has stopped or because thought has stopped or because, no. In deep sleep, for example, the world disappears, the body disappears, your house disappears, your money disappears, but you do not disappear. You don't disappear. Awareness is. Awareness without thoughts, without images, without memories, without body. Between thought A and thought B, you don't cease to exist. There is no thought between thought A and thought B. There is a gap, but you don't cease to exist.
Okay, thanks, Meg. Yeah, no, I guess just a short follow-up question to that is, so I mean, I've pretty much seen that there's nobody here. There's like the lights are on, but there's nobody home. There's no Frank inside this body. So I'm pretty much okay with the fact that that me that I thought existed in this body doesn't exist. So I don't know what I am, but I know what I'm not. I know I'm not inside this body. But I still have these experiences of, like I say, feeling insulted, feeling rejected.
Yes.
Being disrespected. These are all things that I've always dealt with my whole life, anyways, and still have those experiences. I'm like, why, knowing that what I already know about, there not being anybody home.
Yes, because you see, the understanding that there isn't like a separate self, that consciousness isn't a person. I mean, obviously there is consciousness. Obviously I am aware, but there is no Frank in there somewhere that is aware. It's awareness that is aware. You come to that understanding. That is, let's say, half the journey. The other half of the journey is what you're just pointing to, that I still feel, okay, I got it, that I'm awareness, I'm consciousness, awareness cannot be hurt. And then somebody says, hey, you're really stupid. You act so stupidly, and I feel hurt, That's the other part of the journey, very important part of the journey, which refers to living. Nowadays, life, they say. And life is going to challenge you at the feeling level. It's not going to challenge you, tells you, oh, no, you are a separate self. No, because you're not the separate self, you're awareness. But it's going to challenge you at the feeling level. At the feeling level, there is still the sense of me. So, and it's that sense of me that can get triggered in certain situations, which we refer to as the vasanas, meaning the remaining aspects of ignorance in the body. So there is a different type of work, a different type of contemplation that is helpful. A couple of things about it. First, when you're feeling insulted and you feel a certain emotion, this emotion, if you take a look at it, and you need to take a look at it, this is the new type of work, take a look at it, you will find this emotion which says, oh man, I'm hurt, has another aspect to it. You need to look at it from that new direction that I'm sharing with you. That this emotion is basically made out of bodily sensations. So you turn your attention to the body. Now you're leaving the storyline that, oh, I'm hurt, which I'm not denying it, but you press the pause button on the narrative I'm hurt. You're going to go to the sensation, to the feeling of hurt. When you turn your attention to the feeling of hurt, you're going to find a bodily sensation in your chest, in your belly, I don't know, in your face maybe, or your eyes, or usually it's in this area. You will find that sensation. A sensation is a vibration, a certain vibration within the body. It's a certain activity within the body. And because it is an activity within the body or an expression within the body, it is neutral. You follow that? So you need to turn your attention not to I am hurt. Why am I being hurt? Why did they hurt me? I was nice with them yesterday. They shouldn't hurt me. Don't go in that direction. That's not a helpful direction. The direction is to turn your attention to the sensation. And notice the sensation is made out of the feeling, excuse me, is made out of neutral sensations and thought. There is also thought. I am better than that. I shouldn't be hurt. Why am I being hurt by such a stupid guy? I shouldn't be hurt by that. That's just thought. Thought also is neutral. So in fact, now you are doing a different type of work. You are looking at your body-mind, how the body-mind, as part of the cosmos, moves under an insult. Like, very, very, very similar, like the leaves on the tree move when there is a wind. So it's not personal. So you need to work in that direction. Okay, the other point that I wanted to make is that an emotion of feeling hurt is in that moment, although you know that you are awareness, that there is no Magdi in there that's gonna behind the scene, that's just a storyline. At that moment, you forgot that you're awareness. Because if you're very clear that you're awareness, somebody insults you, it's like a wind just blew, oh, wow, a gust of wind. The only way for you to feel hurt, there has to be something, some impact, boom. So there has to be a me that is impacted. So at that moment, I forgot that I am this aware presence, that reality is non-personal. And you need to forgive it, meaning don't get into, oh, darn, when am I going to, you know what I mean? Don't spin it. It's okay. Fine. Boom. Okay, fine. You see it and you see its falsehood, meaning you are taking back a model. You're readopting at that moment a model that you've already examined and you've already done the homework. You already came to the conclusion was there is no actual Frank out there behind the scene. You say, you already did this homework. You don't need to do it again. I mean, you don't need to every time go over the same darn homework, you see. You sort of say, okay, I got it. Here I am. I sort of went back to the old model, drop it. Boom, dropping it. Dropping it means you see it and you remain still. Remaining still when we are feeling hurt may seem to be impossible from the old perspective. The old perspective is like, oh no, man, what do you mean we still would hurt? I'm gonna show them who the boss is, you know what I mean? No. From the old perspective, it seems that it's impossible to stay still. But from the new perspective, meaning knowing that my reality is a universal reality, is a reality of this other person who insulted me. In fact, it is just a game of consciousness. From the new model, it's easier to be still. Okay, fine. I can feel hurt. I feel hurt. There is more to it, but anyways, this is...
Yeah, that's very helpful, Magdi. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
very, very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Frank. Okay. So any questions? Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. Nothing specific on my mind, but isn't it quite amazing to be alive? I mean,
you know, life meaning consciousness is, yeah, it's amazing. The sense of wonder, you know, like you see the children, you know, and the babies, you know, how their eyes are like, they can go without blinking, like sort of looking at, it is, you know, to perceive freshly, you know, to perceive without a storyline, without the past, without me and you and all this projection of the sense of separation, you know. There is beauty, you know, there's beauty and joy and happiness in when there isn't a projection, when there is the recognition of the wholeness, of the love, of the beauty. And it is true that, you know, at the mind level, the sense of separation arises. It arises and projects good and bad. And this we love and this we hate, you know. And from that perspective, our perception is very different. We cannot say what you said a minute ago, how wonderful it is to be alive. From that perspective, It's a battle of the good and the bad. But the good and the bad, the battle that's going on in the world between the good and the bad, is nothing but our own projection. Because we are the world. There isn't a world out there outside of consciousness. We are doing this projection. And this projection that we're doing in the good and the bad and the forces fighting each other is just a representation of our own inner sense of separation that we project out in the world and take party A versus party B. But once we journey to the source, meaning the source is not really a journey because it is ever present. Ever presence, awareness is ever presence. When we sort of open up to that and realize that the storyline, the bubble of me and the world, is just a bubble. It's a bubble that it has no reality. That reality is that the reality of awareness, the reality of consciousness, not as a thought, not as a story, but to come to the full understanding of that, to the living understanding of that. Then our eyes and our body mind is freed from the sense of separation. We will no longer project the good and the bad, the ugly and the beautiful in the world. Instead, our eyes become the eyes of love, of freshness, of beauty, of innocence. And then from that perspective, yes, we see how beautiful it is being, being life, meaning consciousness, awareness, our connection, the love that we share. The love that we share is not the result of our sharing, but it comes from the love that we are, the love that is. And yes, it is absolute. The utmost beauty. There is no other beauty, really. It's no other beauty, no other happiness, no other joy, no other love, but that comes from our recognition of the wholeness, of the totality, of the reality, of the indivisible reality of consciousness. And this is what we are gathering about around every week. We are gathering around our love for truth, our love for happiness, our love for beauty, not just understanding, but to taste the understanding, to have the flavor of that understanding in our life. Of course, in being together here, but in our life.
Thank you. I remember times when I had the feeling, oh, I should not have been born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that feeling too.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I mean, if I look back, I don't know how to look back, but there were so many dark moments and so much despair and pain.
Yes.
And longing and all of this. Amazing. I mean, what a creative act.
Yes. It is part of our journey. I mean, somehow, for some of us, each one of us, we have our own, that aspect, of our experience, where the sense of isolation, of fear, of anguish, of loneliness, of despair. Yes, I recollect that very well. That's somehow everything has its place, in how it's unfolding in our life. And we are so, grace is, it's tremendous that we can come together and also recognize within ourselves that which is untouchable and untouched.
But there is also a form of investment in the old pain, which makes me because it's a form of identity in a way for me too. I mean, not right now, but I remembered in the past where I was, where it gave me a sense of self,
Yes.
my misery.
Yes.
And
Yeah, right. I mean, it goes hand in hand. The identification and the suffering, and the misery and the identification. I remember, being very identified with, as a son with my mom and my dad. There was all this, and great suffering, and whenever we're experiencing any suffering within and in the world, it is that sense of separation, that identification, the identification which the separation from the wholeness that we experience within ourselves and in the world. Of course, there are times in our life where we have no idea, we couldn't understand these words. But now we are at a time in our life where we understand these words, and this understanding is golden. Okay, Holger.
Mandy,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes. Hello. Is this Kelly?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my video on.
Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
Yes.
I was just wondering, are human beings the only ones that identify with with I guess their experiences? Are they the only ones that believe in separate beings as opposed to animals or bugs or trees?
When you look in the animal realm, you will find that there are some identification, genetic. There is a genetic identification. There's also differences in the patterns. I think that, like, for example, among some of the monkeys, there is a certain, one could say, sense of tribe, or a sense of, the herd. There is a certain order. Some out here there's a little pond not too far from our house out here, and there are these little ducks, but they're like some family of ducks. I'm not sure. They're sort of darker and smaller. I haven't figured exactly what their type of duck they are. And they have they live here. There are like 50 of them or so, and they have a certain pecking order. I've been noticing that some are sort of the herders, and they have a certain role, what's arising here is that that it does seem that there is some sort of genetic order within the animal realm, and it seems to be at the functional level. I'm not sure that it has a psychological dimension. Like, for example, among the humans, the adults take care of the younger ones, and they take care of the older ones. There is usually this sort of order. So we can take care of our children, and have a certain role with them. But when we identify, when we have an identity with the family and with my children, they're my children and they have to succeed to make me feel whatever. When there is identification, that's when we are stepping into ignorance, into beyond just the order, a certain a tribal order, which is functional. It's functional to have a tribal order. Among the ants, also, or the bees, there is a certain order, function, various functions. But in ignorance doesn't refer so much to that, what we observe in the animal, among the animals, that there is a certain hierarchical orders. Ignorance is more of a psychological aspect where we define ourselves psychologically as somebody, as a particular person, a particular person. It could be that the worker ants identify themselves as the working ants, and so therefore they are the working ants. That would be a little bit far-fetched for me to say that. I don't know, but it doesn't seem so from the very, very limited perspective that I know about the animals. But the main point is that we can have a social order with various distinctions in strata and functions and so on, without compromising each other's freedom, love, honor, and respect.
You mean without ignorance?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We can be with our children or with our friends or with our partner or with our co-workers in a relationship where maybe I'm the boss, for example, or I'm the employee, but the relationship is a relationship of love, honor, and respect and intelligence. And that's, I think, it's important for us. It goes back a little bit to Frank's question, to also live in a relationship, to apply in relationship, in your behavior, in your perceptions, in how you are thinking, to apply the principles of love, honor, respect, and not the judgment, but to instead the understanding, and of course the humility, because so much we don't know. I mean, there's so much we don't know.
Yeah.
Which leaves us open to, okay, well, to learning, to hearing, to listening, and to understanding.
So, do you have any idea why we created all those other things besides human beings?
Why the animal kingdom and the world?
Yeah.
Because we love creativity. I mean, don't you love
Yes,
the animals and
I do.
the birds and the trees and the ocean and we create because we love to create, and we love to interact and with our own creation. We are co-created this moment, me and you, and interacting in this co-creation. And it's beautiful. It's when there is a recognition of our co-creation, our similarity, our oneness, our sameness, whatever the words are, is beautiful.
I'm wondering if there's no psychological component or the ignorance that we have, if there's I think I'm answering it as I'm asking it. I think there's an answer given. Like they already are the oneness. They already are unquestionably the oneness.
Yeah, when unhappiness is not on board, happiness is. When judgment is not on board, peace is.
Yeah.
So, which is really beautiful, because we don't have to create peace and happiness. We sort of have to stop messing it up. So we have to stop imposing upon the peace of being a personal aspect with its personal conditions and its personal agenda and conditions upon the world, conditions upon each other, conditions upon our pets, conditions upon our children, all this unnecessary stuff that veils and clouds and creates a labyrinth that we get trapped in, and we trap everybody else in it. Yeah, it's not necessary for us to be, to relate, to create, to coexist. We don't need to create these conditions. Rather, just in the absence of the obstacles, we find each other. We find each other hand in hand. We find that we are hand in hand, and we are, together, dancing, moving, doing what we are doing out of the situation, how the situation is appearing to us in that moment, freshly. So the intelligence is there. Already the intelligence is there. We don't need to figure it out. It's right there. It arises to us from in the moment when we are not separating ourselves and projecting our divided mind onto the world and onto each other.
Thank you.
Okay, Kelly. Lovely to see you.
You too.
Okay. All right. Well, very lovely to be with you all. Thank you, Holger and George, Kelly, John, Frank, Hola Maria. Hello, Naomi, Desmond, Hola Maria, and Shiva. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Be with you.
Thank you, Maggie.
Okay.
Can't get off.
Bye-bye.